Hey, good morning. Hope you're all doing well. I have no idea what time it is because my phone's there and I can't see it. Anyway, this is the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. Hope you're doing well. It's Tuesday, August 25th, and this is our 399th episode. We're live because, to be honest, loading up live is so much easier than loading it up manually. And it's a beautiful morning, a little rainy, that's why I got my jacket on today. And this is 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show where we talk agile and Scrum in a practical and tactical way. Yes, I'm not in my typical office saying when you get the logo in the back and everything. And we got a different vertical setup rather than horizontal because I haven't figured out how to do the horizontal on my phone. Every time I try to do it, we get crooked camera action going on. And I don't think it really matters. Anyway, we talk about agile and Scrum so you can bring value to your customer, get home in a decent hour so you can hang out with family and friends and have some fun, and do it in a way you're not doing 60, 80 hours a week, and doing sensible and logical and putting out good product for the customer. And I want to talk a little bit about good product for the customer now and putting undue stress on people and what Agile's become and what Agile's supposed to be, what it's supposed to be, right? And today's I want to talk about the environment. So yesterday, and I just posted up on LinkedIn the video from yesterday because I'm not editing during the day. It was a busy day. Didn't get back until almost 10 o'clock last night. Up early, drinking, just enjoying the weather without the kids out here in the environment outdoors. You got a nice little setup. Check this out. Cool little cabin here. It's a little place. It's pretty cool. Little tiny hotel. They got a little area out there. I haven't sat out there, though. I've had picnics out in our little lawn area, which you don't get in a big hotel. A little motel on the side road. Anyway, so what am I talking about? Environment. So yesterday, as I said yesterday, supposed to go out for a balloon ride, right? We went hiking. I'll put some videos of that. I got a GoPro for Father's Day / birthday present, and learning how to use it while we're out there. So I'll post up some videos from that. And we were supposed to go ballooning last night. We talked about that yesterday's episode about being flexible and going ballooning and weather not being there. Well, last night, and we talk about the environment. Well, the environment was not happy with us last night. As we were driving out there, I'm looking up in the sky and I see this giant rain cloud coming and go, I don't think we're going to make it tonight. We're not going to do the ballooning. And sure enough, it poured down. It just popped up out of nowhere and couldn't quite make it. So that was a real case of in software. I always hear, the environment's down, we can't test. The environment's down, we can't do our demo. We have an environmental issue. And how does that relate to what the topic is? Yeah, environments go down. You got to plan for that, and you understand that. If you plan for not having the environment down and don't give yourself some space and time, which we also talked about yesterday, then you're going to have problems, right? You're going to put yourself in a stress ball, and you're going to fail. Sooner or later, you're going to crash. Now, what do? So why am I bringing this up? So many people rush, and this is why the end of the title was rushing to meet a deadline. When I watch Scrum and sprints, they're like, oh, it's the end of the sprint. We got to get it done. We got to meet the deadline. And then, yes, you know what they do? They put out crappy code. They put code out with bugs. They break stories down that really don't have business value. They go, well, we can't make it. So, hey, let's break the story in half. Let's make a development story, and we'll take the other half, and we'll use points. And, so we make sure we get our velocity up, and we'll make the other half into a testing story. Seen it. Every company I've had. There ain't not one company that I haven't seen it. And if you're really stressed about it, I don't really care. Because in the end, it's going to balance out because I use more than one sprint for points anyhow. So whether or not you get more points in one sprint or don't get in the next one, it doesn't matter because it's an average. So it's going to average out. So when people argue, it's like, okay, fine. This is not a value-based discussion whether or not we should split stories and stuff. And give you some points. what the value is, getting value to the customer. So think of it this way. We are in a balloon. We were getting the balloon set up, and I'll put some pictures of that. It's pretty cool. Never been it. It's pretty wild. If you haven't done it, it's just, I can't wait to actually get video of us in a balloon. So rain was coming. The guy was giving us some dates. So we're looking at where we're at, where we're going to be, and is it worth it? It's worth going to drive the extra 2 hours. If we have to go from where we're at back here to go do the ballooning thing, we're going to do it. So that's definitely going to happen. Plus it costs a lot of money, but we're going to do it. So we get the ballooning set up. So the clouds are up there, the storm's there. Yes, there was a gap, okay? And we could have rushed the deadline. We could have rushed it and said, let's do it. But you know what? I don't think I want to be up there. If you watched the movie Aeronauts or whatever, I think it was a Netflix or a Prime type thing. It's called Aeronauts. And it was a story about, I don't want to be up in that balloon going circling and a storm coming by and everything like that. So that's rushing the deadline. That's what we do a lot of times software. We got a deadline. We got to make the release date. It's got to be that, blah, 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 blah. And that's how you get escapes into the production. That's how you get bugs into production, because you didn't give yourself enough time to make sure everything was good. People put the thumbs up and then you get escape. Well, how'd you put your thumb up? Everything was good. And then you get escape. I don't get it. You're missing something in your way you're verifying things are working. Not giving yourself enough time. So we could have rushed going out there and getting the balloon, floating up in the sky, just twirling around and getting hit by lightning. It would not be a pleasant event. So why do we do it in software? Why do we rush to get a deadline, to meet an artificial deadline? Why don't we do what we're really supposed to do? You know, we look at all this stuff. We look at the burn down charts. We release burn down. You know, it's not about making a date. Unless you have like a major, like I was on one program where we had bought ad space. And on this day, we're saying October 31st, we're going to release this new product. That is a deadline. That is a real deadline, because we just bought ad space, the prints, media, everything's out there ready to go. That's a deadline. The fact that you have to release code, that really doesn't matter, which you're not going to give out to the customer for roll out for the customer for months at a time or whatever you're going to do. That is not a deadline, okay? A release date because we want to drop software code out in the environment is not a real deadline. A real deadline is like, hey, we got a marketing ad. We bought space in Philadelphia, you know, India, Bangladesh, wherever we're going to buy, you know, Saudi Arabia, wherever we buy that ad space, that's a deadline. Right? Because that date, we'll put an ad in. We could probably hedge the date a little bit here and there. You could work that out. I don't think those media companies would really care. But if you bought print ad and the print said October 31st, we're releasing this new product for the customer, then in print, it's in print and you can't change that. Digital media probably can change that. It's not such a big deal, but if they put it could be bad. But anyway, we put these artificial deadlines at the end of the sprint. Gotta get it in. It's so there. And we stress our asses off to get it out there. I'm saying enough. Enough of the stress. Put out the stuff you got that's good. The stuff that's not done, don't put it out. It's okay. The world's not coming in. Talk to the customer. You know, we had asked the customer in one of my programs, and I talked about this in an older show, where we couldn't get this thing to work automatically. You know, this drop down, whatever, wasn't working. I got them to ask the product owner, is it okay if we just leave it manual like it is now? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. Maybe we'll get it in the next sprint. And gave the team another 2 weeks to figure out how to get that automatic thing. But it wasn't critical. It wasn't MVP, right? So just talk to people, ask them what you can do. Stop putting these stress balls on yourselves to release and meet these artificial sprint end dates. It's not worth it. It's just supposed to give you a time box to go and get the stuff. Now, because what happens is some people will take it longer. I had a system engineer years ago. We were on a project, and I had a waterfall Microsoft project thing laid out. And he looks at, well, I got 3 months to get the spec to everybody. I'm like, no, you have to get pieces of the sprint. That was just a long thing. I didn't break down every minute of your job, but you don't have 3 months. Like you got to draft up some spec and hand it to the software engineers and hand it to the testing engineers so they can start making sure their software and the test apparatus kind of meet the spec. And then you iterate on it. And they're like, oh, I didn't realize that. They were going to screw off for 3 months and do other things and wait till last minute to the spec if I didn't talk to them and make sure they understood what that bar really meant. They interpreted they had 3 months to do the spec before they hand it off to another person. I said, no, you see the other team in parallel, like less than a 2-week difference than you. Yeah, your stuff goes into that team. Oh, okay, that's different. Because it made them work, right? So anyway, don't put those artificial deadlines. Don't put your stuff at risk. Don't let escapes into the product line and hurt your customers. Like we could have gone in the balloon, like I said, this balloon thing, and gone in the balloon and flew around in circles in a thunderstorm. That would not have been good for the customer. It's just like releasing code that's not tested, not ready to go into the customer because you have some artificial deadline that you created. Unless it's a real deadline and you can talk to your product owner and your customer base, what is the real deadline? Because maybe we're not quite ready yet. Maybe we need another week, another sprint, just to finish testing. We want to make sure nothing breaks. No big deal, right? Anyway, so that's what I got for today. I hope you have a good day. It is Tuesday, and more adventures to come. All right, take care. Have an awesome day, and enjoy your day. Happy scrumming. Doot, doot.